Hi friends, welcome back to Strings and Threads. Today we're going to nook another square in our Knooking Sampler Blanket Series. This is a beginner nooking series where we create one square at a time, and by the end we'll have a full blanket made up of different stitches and textures. If you're new to nooking, don't worry. I have sections in my video that explain the foundation, the knit stitch, and the purl stitch. You just need to check out the timestamps to find them. If you're already comfortable with that, feel free to jump right into the project. Let's get started. Materials needed for this project are medium weight acrylic yarn. I'm going to alternate between three colors. I'm going to alternate between this Red Heart Baby Pink, and then this Big Twist Value, which is mint, and then this other Big Twist Value, which is Pale Peach. You can use as many colors or as few colors as you want. If you want to just make it all one color, you may. If you want to switch up how many colors you use, that's perfectly fine. Then you'll need a 5.5 millimeter nooking needle, a pair of scissors, and then a needle to weave in the ends. Let's have a quick chat about Knooking Tools. If you aren't interested in this, this is just a bookmark in my video, so you can look in my description and go to the timestamp and then skip through this. But if you're interested, when I first started learning, I went to look for Knooking Tools and I saw there was not a huge selection. So I bought this 3 set. And you can see a nooking needle is basically a crochet hook with an eyelet at the bottom. So these 3 came together in a pack. So I did not have a huge selection of sizes. I just bought these 3, and they were good to help me get started. And you'll see that when I show you the stitches, I use these tools when I show you how to knit and how to purl with the nooking. But I went to look for better versions because I was doing more and more nooking. And I saw that there was a plastic set out there, and it might be just fine, but I realized that I had a Tunisian crochet hook set. It came in a bag like this, and you can see that they're there, and then they have the strings. I should preface this by saying I am not affiliated with any of these companies. I actually get a kickback for nothing. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I'm just showing you what I was doing. So for these Tunisian crochet hooks, they come like this, and then you would screw on the cord. And then, so you don't lose your stitches, at the end, you would screw on a little stopper that came with it. Go on like this. But I found I really like to use these without the stopper on the end for nooking, because I actually like the way it feels to have the stitches on this string rather than having it on a piece of yarn or a piece of cord, or some kind of something else, because I felt like they get tangled up in with this more. With this, it's a lot easier to see where the stitches are. So that's just my suggestion. You can get your own nooking set, or if you have a Tunisian crochet set, that gives you the option to take the bottom off of the cord. That works just as well. Here's how we do a foundation row for nooking. You'll want to have your hook ready, and you'll want to have a piece of yarn or thread attached to your nooking needle. You'll also want to use a smooth yarn so the stitches are easy to see. So start by making a slip knot and then place it on your nooking needle. Then chain the number of stitches your pattern will call for. So for chaining, this is basic, but just yarn over and pull it through the knot, the slip knot. Yarn over, pull it through the slip knot. That's 2 chains. You just count each time you yarn over and pull through, it's another one. So we'll just do a few stitches here to show the foundation. Okay, and then the next part of the foundation, you're going to draw up loops and keep them on your hook. I like to do it through the back bumps because, see, if I go through the loop here, there's just that one strand on the bottom, but if I go through this back bump of it, it gives it a nice border. So you would just go through the back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop, and leave it on the knooking needle. Go into the next back bump, yarn over, pull up another one. And you would do that all the way across. This is part of the foundation. And you keep them on the knooking needle. Here's a quick tip. Count your stitches before moving on. It's much easier to fix a missed stitch now than later. Once all your stitches are loaded, you're going to slide them onto the cord and get ready to work the next row. So you'll have the hook part of the needle pointing to the right. And you pull these down onto the cord. This is how to do the knooking knit stitch. Your hook is going to be pointing to the right. You will have had your foundation row already slid onto the cord. And you're going to take your knooking hook, and be careful that you're not using your tail here, but you're using your yarn, your long yarn. You're going to go into the first loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and keep it on the hook. Go into the next loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. If you've ever Tunisian crocheted, this feels a lot like Tunisian crochet. It's not exactly the same, but it does have that feel. We'll do one more row with the knit stitch after this one, just to make sure we're comfortable with it. Go into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. And here's the last one. Okay, now you're going to keep these stitches on the hook for now. You're going to take the string that you have attached, and you're going to pull it through. Okay, so now we're going to kind of repeat that. So turn your hook so that the hook part is facing to the right, and slide your stitches onto the string, and then the knit stitch one more time. I'll make a close-up this time. Make sure you're not using your tail, but you're using the correct part. Go into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, leave it on the hook. So again, now we're going to take the string and pull it through, keeping your stitches on the needle. And then you would turn and pull the stitches off. This is called the knit stitch. Let's work on the purl stitch. We're going to have the hook facing to the right, and you're going to bring your stitches onto the string. Make sure that you're not using your tail, but you're using the long yarn. The purl stitch is a little bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, you'll get it. The strand needs to be in the front. The long strand needs to be in the front for the purl stitch. You go into the stitch from back to front. And then you grab onto the yarn and pull it through. Okay, go in from back to front, pull a stitch through. You're going to kind of grab onto that yarn. You can see why it would be tough to do this with splitty yarn. Go into the stitch and then pull the yarn through. Go through the back, yarn over, and pull through. But once you really get it going, it's not that difficult. It's just trying to explain it. Hopefully you're seeing it well. You're going to kind of hook on to the loop. Keeping the yarn in the front. Grab onto the yarn and pull it through. And then for the last stitch, we're going to do the same thing. And then just like with the other stitches, you're going to take the tail or the string that you're using to hold the stitches and pull it through and then turn your work. Here is our fourth square. This is how the stitch looks. And the way that we do it, we chain 28. So I already chained the 28, and now we are going to do the foundation row. So you skip to the second chain from the hook, and then in the back bump, you just go in and pull up a loop. If you need to see this slower, I have a section in the timestamp called Making the Foundation Row. Just do that with 28 stitches, and it moves a little bit slower so you can see what you're doing there. And then when you're ready, you can come back. These directions will move a little bit faster because I do have timestamps where I teach the stitch. I teach how to do the foundation, how to do the knit stitch, and how to do the purl stitch. And that's all you need to do for this project. So finish your foundation, and then we'll come back for the first row. Okay, I'm going to turn my hook and then put the foundation row on the cord. And then this row is going to be knit the first stitch, purl the second stitch. And that's the pattern all the way across. Knit one, purl one. Here we go. Now we're at the knit. Knit one, purl one. So this is row one. This is a 4-row repeat, so this will be the first row of the repeat. So go ahead and finish. You should end on a purl one because we have an even number. If you end on a knit, double check your count because we should have 28 stitches total. Sorry, it's a different hook. I realized I had the wrong thing. So I'm going to put my stitches down here, and then the second row, the repeat for the second row, we're going to do the opposite of what we just did. We did knit one, purl one. This time we're going to start with purl. So you need your yarn to the front. It's purl one. The first one in a purl row is always the trickiest one. Once we get past that, the rest will be easier. Okay, so we start with purl one, and then we do knit one, purl one, and then knit one. We're going to follow that pattern all the way across. Purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one. You should end with a knit. If you end with a purl, double check your count. All right, let's come back then for row 3. All right, now I'm ready for row 3. Row 3 is exactly the same as row 2. We're going to start with a purl. That first one is tricky. And then a knit. And that's going to be the whole pattern across. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and then knit 1. Finish this row, and I'll come back with the 4th row, and then we just repeat rows 1 through 4, 1 through 4 until it is 8 inches tall. Right, the last row of the repeat is going to be knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. And then we're going to repeat rows 1 through 4 until you have it the correct length. Height. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to finish this row and come back. It doesn't matter which square you're on. We're going to do the bind off the same on each square. So what you do is you go in and you do a knit stitch, go into the 2nd loop, and you're going to start a knit stitch, but instead of leaving the loop on, you're going to pull it through the loop before. And that's what we're going to do all the way across. Start the knit stitch, but then pull it through the loop that's already on the hook. And when you get to the very end, come back and I'll show you what to do at the very end of the row when you have your last loop on your hook. I'm back with the last loop on my hook, and I'm going to pull the cord out and then cut a small tail. Pull the tail through the loop, and then I'll use my needle and weave in the end. It doesn't matter which square you're on. We're going to do the bind off the same on each square. So what you do is you go in and you do a knit stitch, go into the 2nd loop, and you're going to start a knit stitch, but instead of leaving the loop on, you're going to pull it through the loop before. And that's what we're going to do all the way across. Start the knit stitch, but then pull it through the loop that's already on the hook. And when you get to the very end, come back and I'll show you what to do at the very end of the row when you have your last loop on your hook. I'm back with the last loop on my hook, and I'm going to pull the cord out and then cut a small tail. Pull the tail through the loop, and then I'll use my needle and weave in the end. Don't forget to check out the full playlist so you can follow along with the entire blanket. Next week, we'll be adding another square with a different texture. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one.